Hi everyone. So today we're going to be doing our Hugging Snowman Plate, which is shown here. It's on this nice organic looking plate. Okay. So I'll just go through some of the things you will have in your kit. You'll have a plate that you will base coat with 3 coats of white. You'll have some tin foil to use as a palette. You'll have all 4 of your paint colors, 2 brushes, a red Sharpie, a stencil for the plate, which I'll explain a little bit later, and a piece of cardstock. So, the first step that we're going to want to do is you want to orientate your plate how you want it. Mine's perfect right now, just how it is. And you're going to take this tracing. So yours won't look like mine. It won't have this red Sharpie on it. This has already been used to make the sample. So it won't have this red Sharpie on it, but you'll just line it up where you like it. Another thing, the lines don't completely go to the edge of the plate. As you can see up here, it doesn't extend all the way up. There's a way to fix that, which I'll show you in a little bit. So just decide that my plate looks good here. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your red Sharpie and just lightly, you don't really need to press hard at all. You're gonna take it and just outline the different lines on this. What this will do is it'll make an imprint of the design on the paper, and it'll totally fire out once we put it in the kiln. So there's no need to worry that these red lines will show up and ruin your piece. They will not. They will fire out. Honestly, I feel like this is the longest part of this project, is just taking the time to trace it. What I did to kind of extend, see how the tree doesn't go all the way up to the top there? I just took this same tree and just kind of kept it along that line and just extended it up a little bit. All right. Now that we have it completely traced, what we're gonna do is just paint the snowman and the gnome. So you're gonna be using the number 4 red given to you in your kit, and you're gonna paint the jacket of the gnome, the hat of the gnome, and the hat of the snowman. You can either use the small round brush or the detailed brush. I like to start off with the detailed brush just to make sure I get it in the places I want. And you will do 3 coats for these areas that we're painting. With this red, you really want to make sure you get 3 even coats so it doesn't look streaky, so you see lots of the brush strokes. Way to avoid it looking streaky is to use bigger brushes. I just like to do the first coat in my smaller brush, so I make sure that I keep it within the lines, and then for your second coat you can take the larger brush and then kind of just get in there once you have everything that you need. Again, it's okay if you go outside of them a little bit. You can always adjust the size of things depending on how far you go out. And you really want to make sure you let it dry in between coats, because I didn't over here. And what that does is it just pushes the paint around, doesn't coat it evenly, and you don't want to do that. And you'll know you have 3 good coats when you stop seeing that streaky look where you see the white on the bottom of the plate. So next we're gonna do the scarf of the snowman using the gray color. And again, you're gonna do 3 coats of this gray in the scarf. Probably gonna wanna use the smaller brush for this since it's a smaller area. Just gonna let it dry a little bit. And what you wanna do before you let it completely dry, so it'll start to lose its shine, but if you feel it, it'll still be a little wet. You can feel it. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take either a toothpick, or I like to use the end of my brush. You can see it's a little angled. It's nice for scraping things. What I will do is you'll take your brush and just create little squiggles in the scarf by removing some of that gray paint. Reminder, you don't want to do it too hard because then you'll dig into the white paint below. You just want to create those little squiggles just like that. You can clean your brush off, the end of your brush off in between, because the paint tends to build up on the bottom. Okay, and there you go, and you've done the scarf. Next thing you're gonna do is do the nose of both the snowman and the gnome. By using this light pink color. And you really only have to do 2 coats of this. You want it to look a little bit softer. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use that gray that we used earlier. What you're gonna do is just kind of create just little lines of shading throughout the gnome's beard. Just gives it a little bit more dimension. Doesn't have to be perfect. If the lines are a little too harsh, which I find mine to be, I just take a little bit of water and just kind of brush the water over top of my lines. It tends to soften them a little bit. It will wet the paint behind it, but it won't ruin it. So I just like to shade it a little bit. Move it around. And this will dry back to that white color. You also want to shade the bottom of your snowman. So use that same gray paint and just go along the bottom. Again, just giving the design a little bit more dimension. Again, I'll probably move to my bigger brush and just blend it a little bit more so it's not as harsh. So the next step, we're going to use this piece of cardstock. You're probably asking, why did you give us a little square of cardstock? What's that going to do? So what you're going to do is take a little bit of black, just pour it on your palette. And this is the interesting part. You're gonna take the edge of this cardstock. You can cut it smaller if you'd like, but you're just gonna dip a little bit in your paint, not too much. You're gonna hold it sideways, and inside the trees, you're just gonna, I like to put it up to the edge, and you're just gonna pull it across. And you can go over it, say if I don't like it, I can just add a little bit more. And you're just gonna do this for all of the trees. As much or as little as you want. You can rotate your plate a little bit as you go. And this gives your trees that birch look. And if you go outside the tree, that's okay. In a later step, we're gonna trace around the trees with black itself, so that'll go right over that. You can fix it up that way. Add a little bit more scrapes to that. We'll be done with that. The next step we're gonna do is we're just gonna start outlining everything in black and doing anything that needs to be painted in black. So you'll just go, I usually do the bottom pieces of snow first, just to give myself that base. So just use the detailed brush and go lightly. I don't tend to push too hard down, or else the lines will be thicker. And you don't need to do more than one layer of this, so you just need this one layer of the outline. While I'm right here, I'm just gonna paint the gnome's shoe black. You'll also paint the buttons in on the snowman with the black paint. So basically anywhere that you see those red lines still from the Sharpie, you're just gonna outline in black. Next, we're going to use the red again, and we're just going to fill in the ornaments hanging from the tree. That right there is the Hugging Snowman Plate. All finished. Make sure you let this plate dry before you pack it up and bring it back to the studio to get fired.